Hey, this is Brett Q from MotoSport.com. Thanks for checking out the suspension section of our website. Let's go over some components of your bike's suspension and answer some questions you guys might have. Obviously, there's two parts to your suspension, your front forks and your rear shock. Both of these components must be adjusted correctly to achieve the proper performance. The first thing we're going to go over are your front forks. Improper setup of your front forks can lead to harsh landings, fatigue, bottoming out, or your bike not settling in ruts. The most important thing you need to worry about is having the correct springs in your forks. Spring rates vary by weight and ability level. A lower number spring rate equals a softer spring, and a higher number spring rate equals a stiffer spring.
Some of today's bikes come with the air fork setup, such as the KYB PSF forks or Showa's air fork. Basically, the PSI in the air fork replaces the spring rate in the spring type setup. For this, you will need a tool such as this DRC air pump in order to adjust your settings. Keep in mind when using this tool that the air released into the hose of the pump results in roughly 1/2 pound of air.
Another important thing to think about when you're working on your front forks is your fork oil. Fork oils come in a variety of weights, with the most common being 5, 7, and 10, but refer to your owner's manual for specifics. Adding or taking out a small amount of oil can also change how your suspension handles. Suspension setup is all based on personal preference, so don't be afraid to play around with different settings until you find what you like. The suspension on your bike takes a lot of abuse and needs to be maintained and serviced on a regular basis. For reference, check your bike's service manual. When it's time to freshen up your forks, it's a good idea to get a complete rebuild kit. These kits include all the parts you'll need, such as the Teflon bushings that tend to be overlooked. A rebuild kit includes fork seals, wipers, O-rings, and upper and lower bushings. A complete rebuild kit combined with a good quality fork oil will get your bike working properly. Check out our how-to section for information on how to replace your fork seals. Another cool, inexpensive product you can get for your forks are these fork bleeders. When air builds up in your forks, it causes your suspension to get progressively stiffer. These fork bleeders are a quick and easy way to prevent that from happening. Your rear suspension is made up of your shock and in most cases the linkage that connects it to the swing arm. Your rear suspension is just as important to set up properly as the front. Just like the forks, one of the most important things you can change on a rear shock is the spring. Spring rates vary depending on the rider's preference, with the higher number being the stiffer shock spring. It's always a good idea to check with the manufacturer when determining which spring rate is right for you. Another product that helps with the fine-tuning of your suspension is an aftermarket linkage. These linkages typically lower the rear end and help increase handling. It's a good idea to service the components regularly and replace as needed. We offer complete linkage bearing rebuild kits along with upper and lower shock bearings that are a cost-effective option compared to OEM. Keeping everything cleaned and lubed will prolong the life and keep your bike handling like it should. Check out the tools section of our website for a variety of suspension tools that will help you get the job done, such as sag setting tools, air pumps, and fork seal drivers. Properly setting the sag, correct tire pressure, and appropriate spring rate are just a small part that play a factor. Thanks for checking out this video about our suspension section. Hopefully this will help you with what your bike may need. As always, our friendly staff is here to help out, so let us know if you have any questions.